The River and the Anvil. Sofia's epic true comeback. Stop here. This is the story of a woman who went from folding under stairs to carrying her life like an anvil. Quiet, unbreakable, earned. Sofia was 36 when the flood took her car, her apartment, and the illusion that one day would arrive on its own. At the shelter clinic, the nurse said, pre-diabetic and blood pressure creeping. On the bus that night, Sofia wrote a vow on the back of a damp grocery receipt. I am training to be strong enough to rebuild, for real, this time. Under it she added, no drama, only evidence. She tucked the receipt in her shoe because pockets were full of keys that didn't fit anywhere anymore. This is not a montage. It's the map she used, the same one you can steal, so that 90 days later she wasn't just standing again. She was moving like a tide that never asks permission. Day one was small on purpose, because failure loves big beginnings. Shoes by the cot, phone on airplane mode, 5 minutes of brisk walking in a school hallway where the shelter had opened cots. Then one circuit that touched every pattern without waking every ache. Sit to stands to a chair, the squat she could own. Incline push-ups on a cafeteria table, elbows tucked, ribs stacked. One-arm backpack rows with canned goods, lats on, chest proud. Suitcase carries down the corridor with 2 water jugs. Anti-tilt, walk tall, and a 30-40 second forearm plank. Glutes on, slow exhale. She filmed a set, flinched at flared ribs, fixed 2 cues. Exhale to stack, and knees track toes. 2 clean reps left in the tank on everything. Baselines went in a borrowed notebook. Waist at the navel, max clean push-ups, easy mile time. She wrote one line that would become ritual. Showed up, not perfect, proud. Finish with 2 minutes of nose breathing so the nervous system files training under safe. The point wasn't fireworks, it was frictionless starts she could repeat tomorrow. Structure made the vow real. Sofia circled 3 45-minute windows in a free paper calendar. Tuesday dawn, Thursday late afternoon, Saturday morning, and defended them like rent. Program. A 3-day full-body split that hits the 6 pillars weekly. Squatter lunge, hinge, push, pull, carry, core. Warm-up was 5 minutes. Walk, 15 band pull-aparts, 2 ramp sets for the first lift. Progression ladder. Week 1, 3 eyes 8 week, 2, 3 eyes 9 week, 3, 3 eyes and 10. Food had to obey math, money, and stress. Sofia wrote, protein per dollar, on a sticky note. Eggs, dry beans, lentils, canned tuna, chicken thighs, 0% Greek yogurt. Carbs were rice, oats, potatoes, tortillas. Vegetables were frozen blends, cabbage, carrots. Fruit was whatever was on sale. Calories started at body weight in pounds x 12 for fat loss. Adjusted only every 14 days by trend, not mood. Protein set at 0.8 1.0 g per pound of goal weight, across 3 to 4 meals. Plate method kept sanity, half produce, a palm of protein, a cupped hand of fiber-rich carbs, a thumb of healthy fats. Breakfast, oats with powdered milk and banana. Lunch, beans, rice, salsa cabbage slaw. Dinner, lentil chili or chicken thighs with potatoes and frozen broccoli. Hydration lived at 2 liters by noon and more by dinner. Pinch of salt after sweaty walks. Cravings got a bridge snack, yogurt, berries, 10 dark chocolate chips. So she could go to bed on plan, not on guilt. Consistent beat perfect, because perfect is expensive and fragile. Cardio became therapy that answered without words. The rule was 2 + 1, 2 zone 2 sessions, 25-40 minutes where she could talk in full sentences. And 1 short interval day on a community center bike. 8x 20 seconds smooth hard, 100 seconds easy, warm up and cool down before and after. Steps climbed quietly to 7 to 10K through walking calls to the aid office, parking far from the temp job, and 10-minute strolls after meals to blunt glucose spikes. On Sundays, she rucked with a backpack of bottled water up the library hill, rehearsing cadence, breath through the nose, soft shoulders. When fat loss stalled, she didn't add punishment. She added 15 minutes of zone 2, or tightened weekend drift. Engine over ego. She ended each session with the same question. Could I repeat this tomorrow? If yes, it was the right dose. Setbacks didn't ask permission either. A cold flattened a week. A temp shift cut into training windows. Knee grumbled after a rushed lunge set. Old Sofia would have turned it into a verdict. New Sofia turned it into variables. She shrank the plan to 10 focused minutes, Goblet squats to a box, incline push-ups, rows, a 30-second plank, until the timer sang. She swapped back squats for goblets when knees hissed, pressed dumbbells with a neutral grip when shoulders sulked, slowed the eccentric when form wanted to run. She taped 3 identity lines to her locker. I train on busy days. I choose protein. I never miss twice. Cheesy? Maybe. Effective? Absolutely. She filmed 1 set per main lift weekly and fixed 1 thing at a time. Tripod foot, ribs stacked, bar close, hips through, clean lockout. When soreness tried to masquerade as proof, she remembered, readiness is the scoreboard, not pain. By week 6, the mirror hadn't changed much, but stairs had. The second flight no longer taxed her lungs like debt. The laundry bag felt a little less like an apology. The logbook told a louder truth. Push-ups from 5 to 10, plank from 30 to 60 seconds. Row load up by a grocery jug. RDL finally smooth. She circled a charity stair climb flyer. 12 floors. Entry fee waived. And registered before doubt found shoes. Training tilted toward the climb without turning circus. More incline in zone 2. Carries at the end of every session, step-ups to a sturdy bench, and strict form deadlifts at 1 to 2 reps in reserve. She rehearsed race day. Conservative start, shoulders soft, steady cadence, nasal breathing, eyes up at landings. She practiced saying no to late-night scrolling like it was a lift. Brace, exhale. Put the phone in a shoebox across the room. The stair day smelled like wet concrete and coffee. At floor 6, the old voice arrived. Stop. You always stop here. Sofia lengthened her exhale, pictured the receipt in her shoe, and kept moving. At the roof, wind burned her eyes, and the skyline looked like a promise she had made to herself and kept in public. She didn't collapse. She laughed. Quiet. Defiant. Back at the shelter, she wrote the line that changed how she read her life. Evidence louder than fear. 2 weeks later, a community strength day offered a novice deadlift and carry. She chose a conservative opener, kept the bar close, lats on, hips through. 3 white lights on a platform cobbled together by volunteers. A grin she hadn't met since college. She didn't need first place. She needed belonging to her word. Numbers finally bent to behavior. 90 days in, blood pressure slid inside the lines, waist -3 inches, resting heart rate lower. Her boss noticed posture before paperwork. Groceries came up 2 flights in 1 trip. She tied her shoes without holding her breath. She taught 2 women at the shelter a hinge with a broomstick and said the line that had become her spine. No drama, only evidence. She wrote a debrief. What worked? Protected windows, protein anchor, progression ladder, zone 2, sleep ritual, carry finisher. What to improve? Earlier taper before events, more upper back volume, better hydration on long shifts. Next vow, a 10K walk run in spring and a second community strength day in a year with a 5 kilo total increase. Not because of medals, but because of momentum. Here's the handoff, because the epic part isn't the skyline, it's the system. Write your vow on paper you can touch and put it where excuses live. Circle 3 45-minute windows and defend them like rent. Choose the simplest split that hits squat, hinge, push, pull, carry, core. Keep 1 to 2 clean reps in reserve on compounds and progress 1 variable weekly. Add a rep, the smallest plate, slower eccentrics, or shorter rests. Run the 2+1 cardio rule and collect steps like spare change. Build plates that anchor protein without drama. Buy what you'll actually cook. Sleep like strength depends on it, because it does. Film 1 set per lift, fix 1 cue, repeat. When a day explodes, shrink the plan. When a week wobbles, never miss twice. Tape a 4-box grid, training, protein, steps, sleep, to your fridge and check it nightly with a pen you can hold. If you're still here, you don't need a pep talk. You need a starting line that feels like mercy, not penance. Tomorrow morning, full body A, box squat 3x8, bench or incline push-ups 3x10, row 3x10, farmer carry 440 steps, plank 340s. Later, a 20-minute zone 2 walk. 2 days later, full body B, RDL 3x8, standing press 3x8, pull down 3x10, split squat 3x8 leg, palaf press 3x side. 2 days after that, full body C, lunge 3x10 leg, incline DB press 3x. Chest-supported row 3 guys. Kettlebell swing 3 guys. Side plank 3 guys each side. Between them, one 12-minute bike interval block and one longer zone 2. Repeat for 2 weeks while you lock sleep and food. Week 3, add a rep to primaries. Week 4, if fat loss stalls across 2 honest weeks, trim. 150 calories, or add 15 minutes, zone 2. If strength dips, add 150 pre-lift calories and slide in a lighter bridge session. This isn't glamorous, it's reliable. The kind of reliable that turns receipts into oaths and oaths into mornings you trust yourself without witnesses. The river didn't ask Sofia if she was ready when it rose, and the world won't ask you either. But the anvil doesn't beg. It bears weight and, by bearing, becomes the thing that lasts. Put your vow in your shoe if you have to. Block the windows, set out your clothes, fill the bottle. When the voice says later, answer now. When a rep gets messy, end the set. When a day collapses, take the win that still exists. A walk, a plank, a protein-anchored dinner, an early bedtime. Repeat long enough, and the flood line on your wall will stop being a mark of what was taken and start being the height from which you climbed. Epic isn't an accident. It's evidence repeated until the world calls it inevitable.